Welcome, everyone. Another Monday night Legend Stage Call. Today we are we're gonna go through a little bit of just news and updates and things from our community, and then we're gonna highlight one of my great friends and one of our community members who's gonna talk about return on intentions. And I'm gonna go into that in a little bit. I have some thoughts on it as well. So, um, we're these Monday night calls really are designed to support you guys in education and networking as well. So, education, um, what I want to focus on in this current economy is the understanding of how interest rates and how all the things work behind the veil. I want to call it like beyond the veil because every day we see news. We're distracted by all these random things when we're not really focused on what the numbers and what are the things that are actually happening. Right? We want to see beyond what is being shown to us on CNBC and all the different news outlets. And when you look at numbers and you look at very, very core of our economy with the Federal Reserve and the Treasury and interest rates, these will determine how our economy is going to move and also the confidence that the world has in the US economy. So we get all this news about wars and all these other things happening, tariffs and all that. But at the end of the day, China is still investing in US Treasury bills, bonds, and China holds one of the largest uh, reserves of US dollars. So don't get super caught up on all the things in the news, but really understanding what is happening behind the veil. So we're going to be focusing Monday calls is kind of like an introduction into it. And then our Thursday calls, that is a continuation, is going to be a much deeper dive into everything. So, welcome to the movement. If you are new here, really glad that you've made your way here. And if you have been here already, welcome back. You guys know how awesome this community is. Now, um, one thing I do want to mention is, there is really challenging things happening in our economy. Okay, I was doing some research today, just wanted to see how many jobs were lost. We're gonna go through some news, a little update of the news first for the first maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then we're gonna get into the core of what our call here is today. I'm gonna bring our special guest up here. All right, so first, want to introduce my team. Okay, if you guys don't know who they are, myself, Nick. Nick is the young child prodigy. He is the golden child of our company here. He is the CEO, COO basically of the whole company. He runs all the operations and stuff, and just really extremely proud of who he is and what he stands for already in this world. If you guys don't know who he is, you guys will. He is the one standing next to me right here, Nick. And then we have Giovanna. Giovanna standing next to Nick. She is our community manager. She reaches out to everybody, and if you have conversations with, our text message and our systems that go out, she's usually the one that's going to be supporting you, and she knows where all the resources and stuff that we have. So she's really amazing too. So I don't know if she's here right now. Yes, I see her. Okay, what's up, Giovanna? And Natalie, who is our CMO, handles all of our marketing. She is right here, next to me, and she's does all of our marketing stuff, handles our ads, puts this really cool background here on for me here today, and then uh, she also rescues. She finds and she does location and retrieval of children that are trafficked, the youth. So she's a superhero. I like saying that she's a superhero on our team. So she does a lot of different things, and most importantly, she's got a really great heart and committed to making a difference in the world, as is everybody on our team actually. Donna, who is not here in this picture, but she's one of the first mastermind members in our community, and She has come really far in the commercial real estate space, and she does a lot of she makes sure that all of the products that we have, she takes a she does quality check on all of those, and she creates all the templates as well for the worksheets. So yeah, she's a really valuable part, and she's a partner in a lot of our deals. And Hughie, who just had a baby, but she was co-hosting this with me, but now I am just kind of doing this without her. Miss her a lot. She's got a lot of experience in real estate as well, and she has created financial freedom for herself through real estate, and so she's basically like a right hand for me um, in coaching our students. Jessica, who handles a lot of our events, and she's the main focus is the experience of our people in our live events. And so you'll get to see her when we have live events. And then Luan, who handles all of our AI stuff, he lives in Brazil, but still a very core part of our team. And yeah, he comes to our live events as well. Howard here is the one in the front who took this picture. He's an amazing videographer, storyteller. Um, just really honored to have him on our team. A lot of our really our products, our videos, our courses are all filmed by him, and he puts that together. So this is our team, best team ever. And here is our vision, mission, and core values as Legends U, our company. And our vision is to be the most inspiring and inclusive wealth building movement in the world. We were thinking about how do we think bigger? How can our vision be bigger and bigger and bigger? And I'm like, okay, let's be the most inspiring and inclusive movement in the world. Not just a company, but we're a movement. And you'll see that within our mission, vision, and our core values, it is purpose, community, legacy. These are three really, really big parts of every decision that we make. Is how do we serve our community? How do we leave a legacy for the next generation? And have everybody step into their purpose, right? Through their purpose. When profit is fueled by purpose, we can really change the world and make a difference. That's our mission and vision. And here's our community resources. If you are not tapped in, you can scan this QR code. You can sign up for any of these things that we do. These are all free for everybody. All right, so right now we are on our Monday call. Monday, Thursdays, these are really, really good calls to be a part of, just to be in the know. We are in one of the greatest times, financial opportunities of my life, and probably of all time, and understanding what's going on in the market, understanding how all of this works can make very confident investments and decisions moving forward. And these are some of the things that are coming up next. I've also opened up my calendar for anyone that wants to book a call with me. So under alexlovely.com/1-1, you can just put that into your browser and it will bring you to a calendar booking with us. Now, one of the things I want to share here is January 8th to 10th, our live breakthrough event happens in Vegas. This is an event that is really life-changing, not just for the people that attend, but also for us that's facilitating this as well. This is not just a wealth building event or real estate event. This is an event about you, about creating clarity of what to do, what's important for you in your life, and how do you add that to the jobs and to the things that you do every day. So breaking through your limiting beliefs, getting clear on your vision. It's a really, really amazing event. All right. So tonight, well, change up a little bit with adding in our community member here, or community share, community highlight. So we went through this already. I'm gonna do a little tiny bit of market update and understanding interest rates, and just to introduce you into Thursday's call, life-changing event. Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, and then we'll do some shares and networking sessions. So that's a nice agenda. All right. Okay. So, yes. Hi, Alex Lovely here. I am your host for tonight's call. Some updates real quick about the market. I've been really obsessing over this, but let me share this. I don't know if I can make this bigger, but this is the federalreserve.org. It's their press release. It's about what the Federal Reserve does. The Federal Reserve is really like the central bank, okay? Everything happens because of them. So, for those of you guys that don't know what's been happening, the Federal Reserve in 2020, 2021, we had, sorry, 2019 or 2020. When was COVID? 2020? Yeah. Around that time, when the world was shutting down, the Federal Reserve decided it was a good idea to expand their balance sheet. And the way they expand their balance sheet is they buy the 10-year treasury. The 10-year treasury, the bond itself is what's issued by the government. It's basically an IOU from the government. So the Federal Reserve, which is not the government at all, we actually don't know who owns it, but the Federal Reserve buys these treasury bonds. These treasury bonds go up in price. The more people buy it, their price goes up. When the price goes up, their yield goes down. So their returns go down. So for example, if you buy a $1,000, if a bond is $1,000 and it returns you 4%, it's going to give you $40. If the bond price goes up, right, it goes to $2,000, all of a sudden the yield is now down to 2% instead of 4%. So when the yield goes down, interest rates follow because it's the 10-year treasury. It's basically the how the banks basically view how much they should be charging for their interest rates, because on average loans are refinanced or sold 7, 10 years, 15 years, something like that. So they take the 10-year treasury as the benchmark. Now, between the interest rates or the 10-year treasury, banks also put on something called the spread. So your interest rate right now is the 10-year treasury, which is around 4%, plus they add about 2.5 to 3% on top for the potential risks that banks have to take by lending you money. So we see interest rates around 6.5 and 7% right now. Now, during COVID, because the Federal Reserve bought so much of this treasury bill, it made the interest rates down to basically zero. So people were getting 3.5, 4% interest rates. That's just the spread. It's just the spread that that banks were charging, and that was people's mortgages. And when interest rates go down, money becomes cheaper. Everybody has access to money. Real estate took a huge boom. All right, everywhere across the board, everything was just skyrocketing. Assets were worth way more because money became really available. Now, with that happening, the Federal Reserve has two things that they do. It's called a dual mandate. So understanding just this, okay? The Federal Reserve has two jobs. One job is control prices, so inflation. That's one job. The other job is um, healthy employment, right? So the unemployment and the workforce is the other thing that they have to manage. So when inflation goes too high, what the Federal Reserve does is they pull this lever that increases their own rates, and then it causes money to get locked up, and the economy slows down. So that's how they control inflation. Now, after COVID, inflation was said to be about 9%. I don't know if that's true. They printed 3 times the amount of money that was in circulation. 9% seems a little bit low, but anyways, they said they needed to combat it, and their target is 2%. So now we're around 3%, something like that, and they're like, okay, well, we're not fighting inflation anymore because just this year alone, 954,000 jobs were lost. And I think this whole government shutdown for the last month is because they don't actually want to show us data. They're just making decisions now without data. So the Federal Reserve says we're cutting interest rates, we're cutting our rates, and we're going to make money easier, have people have easier access to money. So that means people can borrow money, businesses can borrow money, hopefully stimulate the economy. Now, The other thing that the Federal Reserve does to stop the flow of money or inject money into the market is called a quantitative tightening or quantitative easing. So, tightening is when they stop buying new bills and new mortgage-backed securities because they want their balance sheet to go down. So things that are being paid back, like the government pays the bill back, they're not bringing money back out into the market. So they shrunk their balance sheet from 9 trillion to about 6.5 trillion. So that means in the last 2 years, about two and a half, $3 trillion were taken out of our economy. And so everybody is experiencing this tightness across the board, that much money being pulled out. Um, Now they're saying, okay, we need to do quantitative easing. We have to bring money back. That means any money that is paid back to us, we will immediately go back to the market and spend it. So what does the Federal Reserve hold? They have really only two holdings. They have mortgage-backed securities, which is your loans, everything packaged up. They buy it from the bank, so the bank has more money to be able to lend back out. And the other one is they buy the bonds, the treasury bonds from the US government, their IOU notes. Sometimes they're a year, 5 years, 15 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever, all of that. Um, and they're going to buy that. What the easing is that any money that goes back to them, they're going to spend it immediately back out. That's their way of easing. And they've also lowered rates 2 times in a row now. They say they're going to do it one more time in December, I think. Who knows what they're going to be doing? But all of that is news that we see in the market. And we're like, I don't really know what that means because it's confusing as heck. And they use weird languaging, right? Like downward pressure of unemployment rates are rising. Like, what? You just use two different things. This is what they say on TV. So people are like, I don't know what that means. I don't care what that means. I think they're lowering rates. That means we should be able to buy houses. What is all that like? That doesn't really. And people are like, let me wait for interest rates to come down, thinking that's the thing to do. But once interest rates are down, the prices of real estate is gonna be up. Now, one thing that I was reading, and it's really interesting because this is something that they didn't say, but they just put it in here, is how are they reinvesting the money? Okay, so the Federal Reserve, yes, considering the average American a little bit, but really just their main investment is the U.S. government. So they're gonna uh, they're gonna relieve the U.S. government more than the people. So what they're actually doing here in this line, that it's I'll read it to you because it's probably maybe too small or not, but they're gonna reinvest the principal payments or whatever they get back. They're gonna reinvest it from the Federal Reserve holdings of agency debt and agency mortgage-backed securities. So mortgage-backed securities are gonna get paid back instead of reinvesting money back into mortgage-backed securities from banks. So banks have money, they're going to reinvest it back into US federal treasury, the securities over there. So they're going to actually ease the government and not the average person. So this is going to be something interesting to keep an eye on to see what actually happens, because when mortgage-backed securities are not being bought, the banks have to increase their spread. Even if the treasury, the 10-year treasury comes down and interest rates are supposed to come down, banks are they're going to be distressed and they're going to have to increase their spread. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. All right. I know I went through a lot in a very short time. This is very interesting stuff, right? But on Thursday, I'm going to actually go through this much deeper. I'll talk about the entire relationship of how the Federal Reserve is with the US government, how the bonds are related, how the price and the yields are inversed, and what I believe is going to happen. I think we are in a pivot moment right now. And yeah, it's very interesting times. And for us in the Legends Accelerator Mastermind group, we are looking at deals and buying them straight from the banks. We're looking at what banks are, the deals are taken back by the banks. And so we're looking at those deals. Um, yeah, really, really steeply discounted, 30, 40% discounted from the market value, right? So this is really a time to take advantage, to double down on hard assets, because as the US, as the Fed lowers the price of money, what's going to happen is more money is going to flood into the market. There is going to be inflation, and there's going to be a downward, there's going to be a pressure on the value of the dollar. So if you're saving money, this is the time that your money is going to lose value, and at the same time, costs of goods are going to go up. So it's going in the inverse direction. So if you're just saving money, you're not just losing money from inflation, but your buying power also becomes weaker with the same dollar. So it's really time to put it into hard assets. Hard assets, I really personally believe that with all this information, it's showing that hard assets are going to go up in value. Right? We just are going through this correction period right now. And what comes down will go back up, right? And all of this information about the Federal Reserve, about interest rates, it's the exact opposite that happened during during the crisis. So let me show you just one more chart, and then we will go into our call here today. Let me just find it. Um, this is a really interesting chart. So I know I'm going pretty fast, but this is the Federal Reserve balance sheet. So when you look at all the financial crises, what happens is the Federal Reserve does the quantitative tightening. So you see the line chart going down. They're keeping less money in their balance sheet. They're lowering their balance sheet, right? So during this time, the crises are always happening on the down, right? They're always happening on the down. And you see during the pandemic from 2020 all the way to 2022, this is an insane thing that happened here. Okay. Everybody, there was a lot of money being pumped into the market. Where all that money is today, who the heck knows? But here's a gigantic correction. Look at the 2007, 2008 correction versus the correction of today. So if you're for context of just understanding where we are today versus then, I mean, I know a lot more money is in the market, so these lines become more drastic, but we are at this point where they're no longer going to be tightening, right? So this is going to come, this is going to go back up as they go into the ease, or it's going to flatten out. Either way, if it flattens out or it goes up, it's good for the economy. All right. Now, thank you for for tuning in to news updates. But I've been really obsessing over these things lately, and yeah, I'm just very eager to share. All right, so I'm going to introduce our guest here today. Let me. Um,
You have a question in the
oh
chat.
yes, please.
You have a question in the chat.
Question in the chat. Thank you. Are you getting them directly from the banks or hedge funds or through brokers who represent them? Okay, so some brokers have them, but we are going directly to the banks, the lenders, like KeyBank has a deal that we are going after. Um, yeah, and maybe these guys are kind of funds also, but they hold commercial real estate notes, so we're just taking them off there.
Alex,
Yes.
I have a question. So I'm from North Carolina,
Hi.
and
Yes.
I sort of bought. Well, I actually bought a house. Sort of when earlier this year, so before the two latest rate cuts. But it seems like the housing market is still kind of going down a little.
Mhm.
Is that just carrying over momentum from the previous high interest rates, or because or do you think the pricing, the house prices will reverse and start going higher once um there are more rate cuts?
So let's just talk about, is it commercial real estate or is it residential that you're talking about?
Residential.
All right, so residential is not in the same boat. What has happened in the residential is there's a standstill. There
Mm.
is sellers that have 3.5% interest rate, and they're not interested in selling. Oh, sorry, hold on. They are not interested in selling because if they sold, wait, why do I have a double sound here? Sorry.
Maybe I'll mute for now.
Wait, no, that's me, I think. Hang on one second. Oh, okay. I'm back. Can you guys hear me? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a different animal. Sellers are not going to sell because if they were to sell, they would have to go buy something else at a 7% interest rate. So the difference between buying a property at 3.5% interest rate versus 7 is basically at one point at 3.5% interest rate, you can afford a $600,000 property. Today, with the same money that you have, nothing has changed, just interest rates has changed. You can only afford a $450,000 property. So there's this big difference between what a buyer can afford versus what the seller's expectation of the sale is. So there's just this standstill. There's a lot of deals just sitting on the market. Buyers can't buy. And, in today's market, if you are selling anything, you are distressed at some level. Okay, whether you're distressed that you are just trying to get rid of this property so you can jump into a different opportunity, or you are financially challenged right now and you need to sell a property, either way, any deal that's on the market, there is stress. So it's still a buyer's market, but the sellers aren't as pressured to sell as commercial real estate because commercial real estate, they're actually have to refinance. A capital event has to happen because their loan is due. So I think right now, when interest rates start coming back down, people's buying power will come back. And yes, prices will go back up. As money becomes cheaper and more available, like the deals that you're going to find is not going to really be in residential spaces as much as commercial, just because residential, they have 30-year mortgages, 3.5% interest rate. Nobody's forced to move, right? Make a move.
So to clarify, so a lot of the strategies you're saying, is this for specifically, is it for both residential and commercial or more for commercial?
It is in commercial more, but like I said, even anybody selling on the residential side, like why would you sell when the market's at its bottom, right? Like that means on some level this person is distressed and it doesn't have to be financially distressed. They might just want to like move somewhere else. They might just
Mhm.
want to put their money into something else that they believe will have a bigger return. So either way, there is an opportunity to buy, but in today's market right now, this is during the correction. There is less
Ah,
money in the market. So, prices are down. Like if you it's like in 2007, 2008 when prices were low, right? I mean, that was a different thing that happened all in the residential sector mostly. Um, but yes, I do personally believe that even residential is going to cost more when the market comes back.
got it. Yeah, so I mean my interest was just um like I guess there's a you don't want to time the market, but of course I want to still you want to buy when it's lower. Um that was my kind of thinking.
Yeah. Let me see if I can show you guys something really quick. And then I know Claudine's really patiently waiting, and I'm super excited to bring her, but this is like, I'm very passionate about this. Let me find something real quick. This is part of the webinar that I did um, on Thursday. So I'll still be showing this chart, but here is a really great chart to understand where we are in the market. Okay, so there's no construction during the recovery. Okay, recovery, there's no construction, and as everybody's making money, this is where I came in. I came into real estate during the recovery of '07, '08. It was 2011, I bought my first property. And oh my God, within 2.5 years, my property went from 220 grand to 660. And and every real estate deal I did from that point on, climbing this hill, I was making so much money. There was like nothing that I could have done that could have been wrong. I had a deal that was double double the budget that we planned for. I thought we were gonna lose our shirts on that deal, and we still ended up making $100,000 somehow. I don't know. So, then as opportunities come, people get really excited. This is all pricing too. The price of real estate is climbing. Remember in 2010, 2021, 2022, when you put a deal on the market and within minutes it was gone, residential or commercial. That's what's called a seller's market. Above this line that I drew across, it's a seller's market. Everyone's really excited about deals. Everyone's like, where do I buy the next deal? I attached an emotion. I had Nick make this graph for me. I attach emotions with also what's going on in the market, excitement, thrilled, all of that. And there is a point, right? Interest rates are at 0%. I mean, the 10-year treasury is at zero. Interest rates are like 3.5%. That's where we're at this like point of maximum financial risk because at 3.5% interest rate, somebody that once upon a time can only buy a $450,000 property is saying, I can now buy $600,000 property. So as somebody is selling the property, I put a deal on the market. Three offers came in higher than what I listed my property as. That's a seller's market. That's up here, right? We're dangerously hitting wherever the top is. When we're climbing this last 10%, I call it we're waiting for we're looking for the next person to hold the bag. We call it hold the bag, right? That means it's like buying Bitcoins at the top and then everyone taking their profits and then now somebody's got to hold that bag till it comes back up. So same with the real estate. At this point, there was a very fast pace moving up here. Then the Federal Reserve comes in and musical chairs. That's a better one. Yeah. Musical chairs. Like who's going to be left without the chair? Who's going to be left without the chair? So many wholesalers, fix and flippers lost a ton of money right here. New constructions, 60, 70, 80, 90 million dollar deals completely collapsing because their rates just went too high and they couldn't get out. Right. And then that's in the hyper supply. So we're going into this hyper supply. There's some anxiety. There's denial that we're losing value. There's deals that you're like, oh my God, that one is about to be lost. And you start to see these in the market. It's still a little bit seller's market during this time too, because people are still like in this denial phase. So they're still buying, thinking they're going to make a lot of money. And then that correction period comes. So '07, '08 was a huge correction period, right? Everybody was getting loans. People were getting 6 loans when they couldn't even really qualify for one. So of course the market comes crashing down. Same thing now here in real estate. We have, I had a deal, 5.5% going in. Within 1 year, it went from 5.5 to 11% interest rate. That's a that's a $500,000 difference in our mortgage payments in the year. That's crazy. Okay, that is insane. So, then we come down to this part where people are like, I quit real estate. I mean, I can tell just by how many people show up to these calls. When we were up here in 2021, 2022, I had 170 people in these calls, right? And at this point, there's a lot of panic. People are just trying to make ends meet. Disposable income's not there. It's very challenging. And there's a lot of hopelessness that happen. I wish I never invested in real estate. But we are at that's the point where we are getting to a point of maximum financial opportunity. The Federal Reserve saying, hey, we are going to be changing our direction. We're pivoting. We're no longer focusing on inflation. We're going to focus on making the economy grow again. People need to be investing into the 10-year treasury, the T-bills, and we will start doing it first. And as that happens, interest rates start coming down and we're going to start to see some relief. And so I don't really know where we are exactly in this point, but we are below this line, which means this is a buyer's market down here. Okay. So,
Yeah,
all right.
Alex, I've definitely noticed at least in my area, a lot of the builders are offering like the promotions, like the 4% for first time home buyers, maybe 4.5 for investors.
Yeah.
So I noticed that, and then also the cuts, maybe 10K, 20K off the prices just earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for like the 400K type of house.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people they're cutting their losses right now. You know, whatever they can do to offload it because they can't sustain. Like everybody is, there's a lot of loss in money. So, okay. Um, I would love to continue talking about real estate and all that, but that will be on Thursday at 1 p.m. Nick has put the chat in there. I hope you guys like this new look. I sent Natalie a background. I'm like, I want to make it look like we're on CNBC or something. Okay. So here we are. If you see CNBC on TV, you're gonna be like, oh, this actually kind of looks just like it. Yeah, we kind of jacked their background a little bit. All right. So, anyways, today we are going to talk about return on intentions. Now, I'm gonna share a little bit about my thoughts on this. Okay, we focus so much on return on investments constantly. That's all on the material things, return on investments. What do I get out of it? What do I get out of it? And I personally feel like this topic is so important because return on intentions. Intentions is almost like this spiritual part of it. You know, the spiritual aspect, like what am I going to focus on? Right? Where's my mind going to focus to? And I think with all this distraction today, the intentions is the foundations for us to be focused, to bring in and call in and do the things that is going to give us the results that we want. So I brought in an expert in this space, and she is also just happens to be the aunt of Nick, who is our golden child, and a really great friend of mine, investor in some of our deals. And I'm just super thrilled to highlight her here today, have her share her wisdom with you, and you know what she's up to today. So, Claudine, I gave you a little bit of an intro from my side, but I would love for you to share with our peeps here, our community. Like, what do you do and who are you and why are you
Sure.
so awesome?
Ah, well, I'm related to Nick. That's how I'm so awesome. First, let me say thank you for people who don't know. I've known Alex since he's 15. So I've had the gift of watching him go up and down pie charts, and I know you still will. And it's a pleasure and honor to be a part of your community through investments, as a friend, as a part of the breakthrough community. They're amazing events. So I really highly recommend the next one in Las Vegas. But who am I? The way I impact the world, Alex, is through relationship and connection. And yes, I have titles like, relationship coach, psychotherapist. I'm a retreat center co-owner. It's really about presence, connection, and helping people go through some practices. We think of psychotherapy a lot. We do here. We're working numbers in our head. I'm a believer that our answers come here. We can work the math out here, but the answers come from, am I aligned with my intention? Do I feel that in my body? Am I a yes? Am I a no? So that's my philosophy and how I impact the world. And I want to
Hmm.
take one moment before we all start to just take a collective deep breath together. We've heard some numbers. We've watched the pie chart, right? There's a lot going on, but right, it's fast moving. So we just inhale through our nose on the count of 4, and then we'll hold it. We'll release it on a count of 4, just to bring yourself here, wherever you are. I want to thank you for being here. So we're going to take it in. Ready? Hold it. Release. Wait for 4 seconds. Let's take another deep breath in. Hold it. Release. If you're here and you're not on camera, I invite you on. This is going to be experiential between Alex and I and all of you, because we can't think about alignment and intention. It's actually a somatic experience. So we're going to go from here to here. Because you're right, it's the spiritual part, Alex. It's a spiritual part. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me here tonight too.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Mhm.
I have heard, I think that's called box breath, maybe, right?
It's the box breath. Yep.
Okay. My
It's
wife
all my
loves this
forte.
box breath.
Yep.
She loves it. She recommends this to everybody. But this is that beautiful thing, like the reminder, because I went from fast pace, right? Real estate, all these things, and then okay, it just takes a little bit to get us grounded back into, what's really wanting to come forth today on this call here. So thank you for grounding us back into the present moment. Yeah, I'd love to just dive into it. So we have about 35 minutes
Sure.
to dive into this topic.
I love this. So I would ask everybody if they have access to it, put one word into the chat, the how you feel, what gets generated inside of you with what's happening in the market, or even when listening to Alex and I talk about the market. One word. Come on, people. I know there's like 30 people on this. Excited? All right. I love Brian that you're in the excitement phase of it. Opportunity. Oh, you got investor energy here. Yeah, excited, excited, excited. That is great, right? Lots of excitement energy. So here's my second question is how aligned do you feel about your last, not the last, aligned are you with your goals right now? 1 low, 10 high. I am all about my goals. I have focus. I know where I'm going. My course is plotted. 1, I'm not so sure. All right, Jessica comes in with a 10. That's awesome. Great alignment. 8. Okay. 8. Aaron, yeah, watching you build your truck. 7, 6. Yeah. Appreciate that people are getting in touch. Diane, 7.5. We're not going to go for a whole number tonight, Diana. That's great. But our return on investment, as much as we may hustle, if we're out of alignment, there's nothing that's going to bring us back to that. So we want to go with a concept you and I know well, Alex, which we can say is the distinction of be do have, because that's what intention setting is. Who am I declaring I'm going to be? What is the experience I'm going to bring to this call, to this relationship, to this real estate deal? Because if I'm in alignment with that, then I am going to take action to have that result come up. But if I am not in alignment, it don't matter how much doing. If your beingness is off, if your intention is not aligned to the goal. I'm not sure where that lands for you, Alex, but that's how I see life.
Yes. So this is something we do have. I mean, this is such a
Yep.
great line in the transformational world because, I mean,
Yep.
we literally think we have to do, and then we do, and then we have this thing, and then we'll be happy, and then we'll be generous. Like, let me have $1 million first before I become generous, right? And it's backwards. And I know this to be true. I've,
Yep.
you know, I've, it's, I have tangible, literally tangible evidence of this. So,
Mhm.
now I forget sometimes, right? I'm like, wait, if my wife can just do this and stop yelling at me about this, then we would have a good relationship. It never works. It never works. So I love, anytime that I have the opportunity to go into this conversation, because I do teach the do, the get, and the things that you get to do and whatever, doing all these things, right?
Yep.
Now, this is why the Legends Breakthrough event is so beautiful too, because we
Mhm.
really focus on the clarity first. We really focus on the purpose first. We focus on who do you get to be in order to draw the loving relationship, in order to be abundant, in order for the money and the opportunities to come to you, right? Who do we need to be first? And
Yes.
oftentimes for me, when I go to networking events, people are like, you're different, right? Like, because I'm in there really
Yep.
focus on the relationship, the presencing somebody. I bring the beingness first, and people experience that, and I get this feedback constantly, and
Yep.
heart centered, and because I come in with the intention, I don't come to an event like, oh, what's going to happen, right? I come into the event knowing my intention is that I am going to present somebody. I am going to make two really deep relationships. I'm not looking to have 100 business cards. I'm looking for two deep relationship that I'm excited to follow up with. So yes, intentions, the be do have. I love it. This is what comes up for me when you're talking about it. It's the most exciting thing actually.
Sure. Right. And if we're talking about a market that we're seeing, prices tighten up, worrisome, right? We talked about in the downward, there's the denial, there's the anxiety, that has an experience in us, right? In our bodies, we can call it contraction. So we want to take people through just a little moment of an exercise.
Hmm.
If you can safely close your eyes, I would really, how do you think back? Let's just ground for a moment. Come back to the room, come back to the chair, wherever you're sitting. Let's recall the last time you had a win in real estate. What was your state of mind, your intention before that happened? Think back to it. Was your system feeling grounded? Did you feel assuredness, on point? Just feel that. Feel the sensations in your body, the thoughts that accompany that win right before it happened. Okay. Now I want you to go into something else. With your eyes closed still, now recall a time when something fell off, but you pushed it away. What was your energy? What was your state of mind then? You knew the truth, but you pushed it away because you wanted to make it happen. Yeah. See, the eyes are closed, right? There's a difference between aligned and misaligned intentions, right? One has a flow state. It's like the river, it goes. The other one, you may have noticed things like friction, or I had to push, I had to make it work. It's like walking upstream. That's what we're talking about. Is my intention aligned with my vision and with the action, the inspired actions I'm going to take? There's a difference. We know it here. We know it here, but right, the mind that separates and says, no, I can do it, right? Because we have all different things that we're answering to. We're looking good conversations, our comfort, our securities. Just want you to have that sensation, feeling of when it's aligned and misaligned. Natalie, I'm going to ask for breakout rooms. And if it doesn't possible, there's 2 questions I'm going to put into the chat. And we're going to do this for about 3 minutes. It's 2 quick questions. What feels most out of sync for you right now? One area of your business is most in sync right now. And you could do this about any domain. It could be real estate or business, relationship, health. What feels out of sync and what doesn't right now? 2 things, 2 questions. I'm going to put them in here. Questions are to everybody right now, I believe. And could you put us into breakout rooms by 2 for 3 minutes? All we're going to ask is these 2 questions. Feels most out of sync and what area of my business feels unclear, right? So let's just be with these 2 questions right now. Just want you to have, not want to overanalyze. If you can do it, Natalie, great. And if not, we can do it right here on screen.
I was gonna say I was gonna have Nick do it because it looks like I'm no longer host when Alex jumped back in.
Okay.
I got you. I
I'll let
got
him
you.
break it. Yeah,
No
he's
problem. Again, focus on any area. We'll give you 2 minutes really quick.
All right, go, go, go. Don't leave your
Yeah.
partner hanging.
Yeah.
It's so
This is-
funny. Breakout
So
rooms are like people are so afraid of breakout rooms.
are they? Come on. I see a
Come
lot of
on,
people haven't
guys. Come
joined yet.
on.
You
Don't
The
haven't
leave me
joined.
for.
moment you were like breakout room, like 9 people left.
We could we could do that together here then.
No,
If
it's cool. It's
anyone
cool.
is
They're
willing to
doing
come
it.
on screen,
People,
did they go in?
Yeah,
uh,
most people
most
do.
went.
Okay, there's still a good amount of people up on the screen here. And they're
Yeah,
also
the-
on the phones. I see that probably. We don't see their faces. But let's talk about that. Like even
We
here
can move
among
them.
us.
I
Yeah.
know, I'm moving them around.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Mark
Make
gets to
sure
go with
everybody's
Eric.
got somebody.
How lucky is he? The two legends together. It's great.
All right, I think that's. Wait, nah, shit. Kathy lost. That's her
Okay.
partner. All right. All right, we got a group of 3 for now.
We're just going to give them again 2 minutes. So whoever's here on the screen that you're listening to us, you're not in a breakout room. I really want you to just think about that because intention is our GPS. If we decide what we notice, we attract, we create, that's the context. Intention is our context. And then what we get is our content, right? So where is you? If there's something out of sync in your life right now, what are you pushing against? What's the flow you're walking upstream against right now? It's not a bad and wrong. Am I aligned with where I'm still going? Is this still true for me? I use the word chasing often in my sessions. Am I chasing something? Or do I need to clean up something in my context? Does it mean my intention has to get clarity? Then it has to get clarity. Or I have a new commitment. That's fine. But if we don't get real with ourselves, we keep walking upstream.
Yeah.
That's exhausting. I'm sure I've been there. I know I've been there.
Yep. I think anybody that's up to anything has been there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I appreciate they may not want to talk about that on a Monday night. Like, my gosh. That's really where I think it is because when we don't have clarity in our intentions, our actions get scattered, our decisions get a little bit more messy. It's feedback, it's information, not judgment and sentencing. My experience is most people judge and sentence themselves as if I effed up or, oh, now what? Okay, recalibrate.
Yeah.
Or maybe have to say goodbye to something or even expand on something. Maybe it wasn't big enough. Maybe I only saw it from one angle, but there's another one. That's the invitation. So Brent, Brian, Ethan, JJ, Giovanna, if you see that for yourself. Okay, Nick, we can bring them back.
All righty, they'll be back in 60 seconds.
Okay. Oh, you gave him, that's right. Forgot about the whole thing. Yeah. And again, you just did something that was grounding before. So as people come back in, we'll connect it. Right. Thank you, Jeff. Now I'm wondering, Jeff, are you going to be at the breakthrough event in January? Because then I get to meet you in person because I'll be there.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Who knows?
All right. Great.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
All right, let's see. It
All
must be
right.
a really great room because people are waiting to the very last second to come back into the main room. So
Mine was
Okay. Then,
frozen.
you're having a good time.
The
Right.
gal I was with was frozen, so we didn't even have a conversation.
Ah,
oh, sorry to hear that, Jeff. Okay.
All
This
right.
is an opportunity to really check in with ourselves. Am I aligned? Is there anything out of sync? It's information. Do I need to reshift my intention? Because it's information that my GPS may be off. I'm working towards something that may not be what's meant for me anymore. And that's not an easy decision to arrive at in our body. So I want to take what you just learned and bring it in back here. So I want you to think about your full yes, your full body yes. As my brother Mark would say, the fuck yes, the full body fuck yes. Because that's an experience. And so is our nose. But if we're making them all here, we have taken out some big information. So we just think, if anyone wants to come on screen and do this, but just notice what happens to your breath, your posture, your chest, your body, your sensations and thoughts. When you had that conversation, even if you didn't have it, you had to think about what's off in my life right now. What feels out of sync? Where am I forcing a yes? Anybody willing to come on screen and talk about this? Anyone willing to notice what their experience is? Even Alex, for you, do you notice even now when you think about what was out of sync or even something going on in your life, what happens for you when you're in a forced yes, or you're pushing a maybe into a yes? You notice.
Well, when we were going through that close eye process, for sure, what was happening, I was thinking about a deal that we last closed, and I was just so confident. There was not even a part of me that didn't think that it was not possible, right? I
Okay.
was so certain. So there was a level of certainty and confidence that probably exuded from me as I was talking to everybody, right? And in today's, with all the things that have been happening, even the thought of like, what size deal can I even possibly do, right? There's so much this like doubt that comes, and should I be going to do this? Should I work with this person? Should I work with that person? It seems like there's so much that it's just like pulling, and
Mhm.
there's a level of uncertainty that's showing up. Um, so yeah, I think the certainty is definitely a part of the experience today versus the experience then.
Okay. And then let me ask you, what are the sensations in your body that go, yeah, this is certainty. This is my hell yes. Do you notice that for yourself?
I feel there's no like blockages. Like it's just
Yeah.
complete flow, the confidence that comes from it. And
Okay.
then, yeah, there's like a block almost in my chest when
Mhm.
I had this, and I felt that this person that was in a desperate situation, close friend of mine, and I still lent this person the money, and there was friction, there was friction around it, and I'm like, I'm not sure, but I really like this person, is a really good guy, and you know
Mhm.
even though it was a very attractive offer, it was not a heck yes for me, and I did it, and now I'm facing my consequences of my yes.
Thank you for that authenticity, right? That
Yeah.
you're recognizing you had signals that were going, maybe they weren't huge, but they were some little ones,
Yeah.
right? And that is distinct from a yes, confidence, flow,
Hmm.
right? Most of our brain wants certainty, even if it's the certainty of struggle. That's still certainty. So our brain will make something that's not desirable, a yellow flag, into a green flag. But our body will not
I have
lie.
a question. Yeah, I have a question about that too. But what if you're somebody that has just been skeptical or hurt or betrayed in the past, and now you're operating from this doubt and skepticism constantly? How do you know that the yes, like there is actually a pull for a yes for the reverse situation, right?
Sure.
Like everything
I
feels like it's right, but my mind is saying caution. And is that a yellow flag because my mind says caution? So how does one figure
mhm.
that part out?
I'm with Alex on this one too.
Yeah.
All right. So I agree with you. I think our mind needs to go through all of its layers. Look at the evidence, look at the numbers, the charts, the facts, right? Allow that. And at a different time, also allow your body to respond. Even as you're reading those, is your body getting tenser? Or is it feeling, oh, I feel looser. I'm getting more informed. This is actually helping me.
Mm,
Oh, all right. I like that. I think I'll go down another rabbit hole. If there's easing in your body, that's a sign. I'm not saying it's an answer, it's a sign. Because when I stop the mental load, at one point we've researched our research, we really
mhm.
get to sit, I would say, some quiet place It doesn't have to be in nature, though I'm a big fan of that. You're like, what is true for me? That's not a question for our mind. That's our spirit, our body. What does my highest self say? What do I say? Right before, you felt the difference between my nose and your yes. Right? When I say yes, I can feel this. I am more open. I can navigate. Right? You said confidence and flow. I can walk forward. When I'm in a no or a maybe, I'm much more this. I'm much more, I'm not assured. I'm more rounded. That's my body signal. Everybody has one. Everybody's has one. Because our body always is seeking to protect us. It does not want harm.
Yeah.
But how many of us trust the signals? We trust this. My brain makes the best choices. Okay, I would say this is a much better decision, where
Yeah.
I am integrating my mind, body, and if you believe in spirit, I want my whole counsel on a decision, not just this, because this makes up stories.
Yeah.
It holds on to evidence. And I'm not saying trauma is not real. I've spent 25, 30 years working with people around traumas. I honor trauma. But evidence is not always trauma. Evidence is information. And how do I want to relate to this? I could do it with fear, or I could say it's information. That's up to us to decide. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So, it really leads me to what I want to share about how, look, I feel like our world is calling for us now to become more heart-centered, to be able to listen to the bodies and the feelings that comes with it. And this is why I think this conversation is really important. Most people and a lot of real estate and wealth building seminars and masterminds and groups are now incorporating more of this listening to your spirit, listening to your body. And I do think this is really important as we guide ourselves into the next age of humanity. We are moving. There is a transition happening from, technology is pointing to all that. So I love to have Jess. Jess has got her hand up. She can share.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
go ahead, Jess.
Jess, it's been a while.
It's been a while. So good to see you, man. I'm on the right call tonight. And yeah, I just wanted to share because at first I couldn't think of anything because I just feel like I'm so aligned. I told you I'm so aligned with my vision of what I'm doing. But then I thought of something. I'm getting ready to come into a nice amount of money that's more than I've ever really had to be able to really invest or anything. And my family has been like driving me crazy. They're like, they have this Edward Jones investor and like, please, you got to be careful on this and that. And then I was with them this weekend. And for some reason, I'm like, listen, with everything that's going on in, the administration, I don't know if I want to have, my money in the stock market. I'm trying to let them know that I'm not going to use their financial advisor, which the whole family uses. And oh, what are you kidding me? No, what are you gonna do or anything? I'm like, well, I'm kind of thinking about, maybe like real estate. They're like, no, you're crazy. The worst thing you have to do right now. I'm like, well, no, not a residential real estate, commercial. Worse, even worse. I mean, my family's Cuban, so you can imagine the drama on the other end of this. I'm like, I just like shut up. I'm like, I'm not gonna say another word, not another word. And because it was like 15 minutes of them, rattling on what I should do. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and then. But as much as I, and she's my older sister, and I didn't want to say anything because, like, oh my God, I don't want to go against anything because, they're established or whatever, they have their investments or whatever, their portfolio, whatever the hell that is, But I'm like, I've always been like the radical one in the family, but I'm like, yeah, but I love Alex. I'm down with Alex. I want to go in there, but I doubted myself. I was doubting myself so much until now. And I think that the reason why I am getting this blessing is because in the past 6 months or so, I have been so in the flow, as in the being. I've been in the being of feeling the abundance and feeling, so aligned with my purpose. And that's what I think brought this blessing to me. And now it's like, oh, it's making me feel like my chest tightens up every time I think about Edward Jones. I'm like, maybe I should just a little bit with them, And I'm like, no, I don't want to give them anything, So anyway, thanks.
I love it.
This is exactly.
Can I share what I like? Jess and I know each other through gratitude, the legends, Force of Miracles. And what I remember, Jess, is that you took some aligned actions to expand your business. So you had a be, do, have. I want this, which you wanted growth, right? And more support and expansion in your company. You took actions that aligned to that. And now I sense you're seeing a result. That came from trusting this and this, right? And if that formula worked for you, my sense is go for it. And I hear that you're already there, that you recognize I can trust me. My GPS alignment is not passive. It is power. That is your power. That's your sovereignty. So I acknowledge you, Jess,
Thank
for
you.
trusting your alignment and your actions that come with it. Thank you for sharing that.
All right, Claudia.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Jess. All right, we got another question, Pedro.
It's true.
Hey, how are you? So
Hey, good to meet
mine's mine's kind of with that. So I'm a people pleaser, and I guess I need to learn how to read my body too, because I'll sometimes say yes a lot, and it's like I need to. I guess I don't
Yeah.
know how to do that, but also, I recently got married and I have a family. Before it was me myself, and the decisions I made didn't matter. I can fix it and correct them. It didn't matter, but now it's where like I'm like, oh, this my family can be affected. Now I have a son, I have a daughter coming. So those things that I'm like, okay, how do I get away from or learn
Mhm.
to not be like, okay, just yes person, or
Sure.
you know, a little bit of insight maybe.
That's wonderful. It's actually what I work with a lot in my coaching. So tell
Mhm.
me something. What is your intention about how you want to show up for you? Because that
Yeah.
informs how you're going to show up as a father, husband, businessman, friend,
Mm.
son. What's your intention for yourself, Pedro?
Yeah, I mean, so my vision and my goals are to leave a legacy,
Leave a legacy.
and
Okay.
that's what we want to accomplish. And I think
Okay.
everybody in this group knows, my passion and helping others, and that's my biggest thing.
Okay. So you're in
Yeah.
service to others. Who do you need
Mhm.
to be to have that legacy happen? What do you need to access so that you can have a legacy for your family? It's kind of a little like what Jess is up to.
Yeah, well, I guess, a lot of times I think about it. You don't really need it, but it does help to be able to impact more people.
Mhm.
You can only do so much on your own, which we do. My wife
Right.
and I, we feed the homeless, we help, and
Wow.
but we want to create something bigger. We want to create instead of like giving them a fish, show them how to fish. We want to
Sure.
create an actual,
Yep.
restoration ranch to actually show them a trade and leave a legacy behind and teach them about. We're Christian. Teach them about God and teach them about how He is. So,
Yep.
but now when I that's always been my vision. But now when
Sure.
you have your family involved, and then it's like I see myself doubting myself sometimes.
Can I tell you what I just heard you say, Pedro?
Yeah,
That you're a man who's moving aligned with your values,
yeah,
values of service, family,
yeah,
right? Generosity. Would
yeah,
that be accurate?
yeah, absolutely.
So when you act from those places, are you in the flow like, this is my yes, I am living my purpose. This
Oh
is
yeah,
what I'm here for impact. Yeah. Right.
absolutely.
When you're not in that alignment with your values, can you feel that? Like, oh, that didn't feel good. Like I cut that person off, or I didn't give, or I overgave. Can you
Right,
feel that?
I do. Yeah, all the
So
time.
then when it comes to people pleasing, this is for you and all of us. I often introduce myself as a recovering people pleaser, is giving myself enough space to have a pause to say, is this my yes or my no? Because if we
Okay.
don't, we act on automatic.
Hmm.
Right? I thought I had to earn love in my family. I had to have accomplishments. I had to show up a certain
Hmm.
way. I had to people please, give, give, give. It doesn't
Hmm.
bring love. Love is a connection that's authentic. It's an energy. So if
Hmm.
I pause, and I can be like, wow, not my job to give that. I can choose to. But if I don't take the time, then we go to automatic yesing, automatic overgiving. So I would encourage you, just like you know your yeses and nos,
Yeah.
pause like, well, am I going to say yes because that's who they know me to be? because I need to be loved and liked? Or is this authentic to my values? My
Okay.
sense, Pedro, is you'll have a different experience if you act with your values or not in alignment with it. You're going to have that sensation. Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
But it's
thank
a
you.
pause. We call
Yeah.
it the sacred pause.
The pause.
Because automatic for people pleasers, sure. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, no problem.
Mhm.
I got that. Because that's
Yeah.
who we want to be, but that's not always true to us. Not when
Right.
we've overgiven and when we're burnt out.
Right.
So right, it's got to start here. I've got to be the full cup. I've got to be the context of what I want to create in my content. Right?
Okay.
Going to be the fertile ground. If I want to grow a lot of trees, I got to have good soil.
That's
That
true.
starts with our responsibility to ourselves.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
and values. You're welcome. Thank you for your question. Love it. Yeah. If anything, I really would encourage everyone. Like I'm just going to share personally, Alex. I have a morning routine. I went to coaching about 11 years ago, and I remember saying to my coach, "I am not leaving this coaching commitment without a morning routine." And I will kudos to Kathy Copeland because I did, and I every day for these last 10 years. Part of many activities I do, but the one that grounds me after my thank you and after my prayer is what is my intention today. So today is the day of receptivity, because I'm really leaning into receiving. It was also a day where my commitment and my intention was about connection, clarity, and being in service. And the reason I do that every day is a checkpoint. Did I show up in the way that I said I wanted to today? And it's feedback. No, Claude, you didn't hear, but you did hear. Right. So I can end my day going, yeah, I'm aligned with how I said I wanted to show up today. Not every day, but it's a guidepost. It is your GPS. It's your side rails, so to say. And that's what I think the power of intention is in any area of our life. That would be my wisdom that I would share with all of you is how can we bring that in? We could even end on that.
Yeah.
How do I want to be? This is what I intend so that I can have blank. Right? We've got to call it forth. That's the invitation. That's our declaration. We put it into the universe and say, yeah, today I'm about the intention to create connection.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, do you create connection? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So as you're sharing that too, like I literally have an intention before I get on every single call. Before I talk to every single person, I need to remind myself that I am not here to be attached to the results, right? Like not to be attached to results. I'm here to like really get to know this person. And if I don't set that intention, random things happens on the call and I'm like, I forget what I'm even doing, right? Like so like it presents us to it. Intention is actually what draws those results to you. Like the fact that I even have an intention actually is a reason why I can see that it's happening, right? I can get focused, I can get grounded into it. So yeah, it's such an important part, like for you, Pedro, perhaps like going into, like if you go to a meetups are the place where you can get a lot of people to ask you for things and you say yes to a lot of stuff, right? Anywhere you go, if you're with people, if your intention is not like, I'm going to find one thing that I'm going to say yes to, then you're going to get caught saying yes to so many different things. But if you have an intention like that, that's what keeps you like on the path. Otherwise, you'll be going in 10 different paths and you'll forget because you didn't set an intention of what it is that I want to create when I get here. Then you just get anything, right? You just get anything. You get the good, you get the bad, you get all of it. But if your intention is like, I'm going to say yes to one thing, that's it. Now you're really looking. Yeah. So you're not squirreling anymore.
Because the clearer our intention, the higher our returns.
Yeah.
You're exactly what you're saying. It is energetic. It's the law of attraction. If I show up in that energy, then of course I'm going to have it happen. Right? But that is so self-driven and we want to always put it out there. Oh, the people weren't friendly. Oh, the room was too big. Oh, no, it's not. It's right here. But yeah, there's circumstances, but our clarity really changes things. Yep. The higher our intention. Yeah. Clear our intention, the higher our returns all the time.
Love it.
Right. it's one of those things. And I would just have everyone just even take a moment and go, where am I? What word am I experiencing inside my body now than when Claudine came on and had us breathe? Because you've had energy shifts in this call. Some of you may be bored, some of you may be inspired, some of you may feel heard, some of you may be intrigued. Right? Just be with that all the time. Open. I love it. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement here. This is a call of possibility, opportunity, all of it, right? That's what you're always generating here, Alex, and information and service. So it's aligned with your values. So I just continue to really be in how do you want to hone in on what's in alignment for you, right? And think about our alignment is our power, but note the hell yes and the hell no's. It's a great opportunity to be here. I don't know if there's anyone else who has any questions, they want to explore that. Because there's something you said earlier, it may have been Paige or Jessica, maybe Alex, I don't know. But we are in, we call them trying times, uncertain times. That's affecting us also. Our nervous system is wired for predictability and consistency. We are not getting that outside right now. So we're feeling this from outside. That also affects us in here. So again, the clearer we can get in our, either it's your practices, your grounding, your inner dialogue, like how do I ground me in the world of uncertainty? Because we are wired for it, but we're wired to protect ourselves from this. So it can really muck up alignment. So that's where the stillness comes in. Like, am I listening? Am I taking care of this vessel? That's our responsibility. It's our temple. So we get to always be there. Yeah.
Beautiful. So Javier, before you go, Claudia, I would love for you to put your contact info, anything like that in the chat, right? Anybody that is looking to, if this resonated with you, if there's a sense that you want to connect with Claudine to talk a little bit deeper about this is what she's all about. For me, I have coaches for almost everything that I do. I have a guitar coach. I go to the gym. I have a coach. Real estate. I have multiple coaches, right? I've had a life business coach for the last 7 years. The same person, Gary, he's been amazing. So I have coaches in all different realms of my life. My relationship, right? My relationship with my wife, been coached on the entire time, because what you actually make important, like you work on, like everything in our life is continuously always like falling apart unless you tend to it. Yeah. So this, like, our life is a garden, and if you don't take care of certain areas, it's just gonna get out of control. If you don't take care of your health, you're gonna feel like crap, And so
no doubt about it, right? Yeah. And it's also going to affect your yield. Let's be honest. We don't fertilize and weed our garden. It's going to affect our results. I do a monthly free workshop called, it's a masterclass called Love Rewired, where it really does talk about our nervous system. How do we create predictability for ourselves? How are we getting hijacked by our brain, our histories, and our traumas? I respect that, right? And so how do I have that and still move forward in my life? The registration is here. Again, it's free. It's November 11th. You can always book a call with me. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. I've been doing this for 30 years. It's aligned with my values. So being in service and integrity, spirit-driven, have been the values that I've been guided through. And I am honored to be able to do this for the amount of years I have, and to be a witness, a cheerleader, and a part of the Legends community. So thank you, Alex. Really, really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your time here. Jeff's got a question, and then Javier's got a question.
Oh, sure.
What's up, Jeff?
Hey, how are you, bud?
Good.
So
Jeff.
I was going to make just one point that, men are super hardwired to fix things. And, when you try to fix the unfixable or the uncontrollable, you feel kind of out of kilter. I want to be able to fix how do I make this deal better? How do I make that deal work better? How can I make my business 30% more, to be able to make it function? Well, I'm going to tell you like this: you can't control everything, and I can't either. And I've learned that, you know, there's things you can control and there's things you have to let go, and just have to put it to God to let it happen, because there's nothing that I'm really in control of other than just myself and how I present myself daily. And so I look at this as
Yep.
being one of those things, as you had mentioned how grounded and predictable, and how I want to always fix things. I'm going to tell you, you know, I can't fix anything but myself. You know, I was too fat 2 years ago. I lost 60 pounds in the last 2 years. I fixed it. But the point is that I had to be pissed enough to be able to make that happen. And when you're fat and lazy and just hanging out, that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And you don't have the intention of, hey, my clothes are too big for me, or my body's too big for my clothes. Let me say that right. You know, because it is what it is. You know, you don't hit the gym until you absolutely are pissed. And I'm sure Alex is the same way. You know, you have to have an intention of
Mhm.
making something happen
Exactly.
in life, love, business, everything. You know,
You got it, Jeff. You're right. Right. For you, the motivating was the anger, the pissness.
I was
That
mad.
had you, but it made you set a new intention and you made it happen. Right. That is how our brain and our body work together. Correct? Because it's clear that doesn't happen for everyone. They get pissed about their weight. I was 380 pounds, very upset about it until I shifted my intention and hit my rock bottom. It didn't happen.
Right.
The facts didn't happen. Shame happened, right? I'm a doer, I'm a fixer in my masculine, and I'm a connector and a lover in my feminine. But they had to come together for me to love myself enough to take the weight off. So it
100%.
is right when it finally is, we come together. We align and we take the committed action. So I thank you for sharing your journey and acknowledgement. 60 pounds. Good for you, Jeff. Crap.
30
Amazing.
more to go. 30 more to go.
All right. All right.
You can join us. Where's Aaron at? Aaron's in here. Aaron Baker. We started a water fasting weekly water fast, and we
Yeah.
you know it's a great group, and people have been losing weight. People have been you know having a lot of clarity. It's pretty awesome. We do a weekly
Yeah.
water fast to cleanse our body. All right,
So-
Javier's got a question.
Sure. Javier, it's good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you too. Thank you, Alexander. Hey, Claudine, my question is, how is there anything you advise me to do to, to be more consistent, or to really have the experience of the hell yes? Because the first time that I heard about it was with Gerald, one of Alex's guests. And when
Okay.
he used that in one of the breakthroughs, the first time that I heard him about it, this has been, let's say, that grabbed to my neck, to my neck, wherever I don't do a hell yes. But it's like I'm not used to do a hell yes, And one of the days one of the times that I decided to do it was when I joined the Legends community. And the excitement was so high that I started developing anxiety, because it was so exciting for me. Like, oh my God, I love these people. And I remember having for a year or two conversations with Alex. Of course, it never happened, but in my head, with Nick. I know it sounds a bit crazy, but that was true. With, I don't know, with one of with all the team. It's I used to have conversations with them because I said, oh my God, this is my community. I love this guy. But other than that, I have been always playing with myself to do things that are uncomfortable and to be able to make it happen. And they work, but the hell yes happens once every blue moon. And I see that you're talking about that, so I would love to hear something I can do to get closer to.
Let me just be clear. I have to pay my taxes. I'm not a hell yes to that. But I also chose to live in a society and stay in a country that's one of our rules. So I'm not a hell yes, but I can acknowledge my role in this game. That's a little different than I keep doing something that I'm not a hell yes, right? It's going to start to mess with my energy, my results. That is where I'll use the word control, which is a little illusionary, but right, that's what we're really talking about, not what's outside. So I would ask you, Javier, are you acting in alignment with what your goals are and your values?
Yes, I'm doing it honestly, but I procrastinate the most important things, and I feel in my chest that I have to do them. And then when I do them, I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I do this long time ago? But then I go back and procrastinate. So I have
Okay.
been
But
working with a therapist about that. Yeah, but
Okay,
I
so-
do it. It's just that it takes me a bit longer.
Right. So procrastination, we know, is our brain's way of holding off the discomfort, but it ultimately comes. It's a game. It's a game we play here. What we're talking about, hell yes, is here. So I would really be wondering if some of the things that you're pushing for, you're actually in alignment with, or you're doing because it's what is necessary, obligation, next step, but you may not be fully aligned with the ultimate result. Because if it is, I'll Nick's on this call. I wrote a class. I have marketed. I have taken his high ticket item course. I know my avatar, and I can tell you 7 months later, I have to get even deeper with my avatar because I started to act out of alignment, but I kept doing it. I kept doing it because I wanted the muscle. So that's different. Like I need to take the information of where am I acting in alignment, where I'm not. I know by my results. I know by how it feels here. I started to feel I was chasing. That is my responsibility to me is I got to make some new choices. Like that is where I would advise in being discovery and exploration with you. Am I truly acting in all areas of my life? And where you're not, it doesn't mean it's bad and wrong, but right, if I have a full-time 9-to-5 job and I'm not in alignment with it, that's different again outside. So what do I want to do with that? Do I need to take new actions, get a new job, or change my mindset about this? Thank God I'm employed in this economy. I don't know. But that's your journey. But if you're not acting from hell yeses, that tells me you're either probably very exhausted and you're walking upstream a hell of a lot. If that is your experience in your current lifestyle. I'm not sure if I answered your question or not, but right, the sacred pause and really ask yourself, is this what I want? Or am I doing it because it's supposed to? I signed up for this course, but it's really not the right time, but I'll make it work. That's different, right? Is it uncomfortability or am I out of alignment? I would just I would come in here, not here and out here. A lot of us like to go to more data, ChatGPT, I'll let that make my decision. Love chat. I love it, but it will never replace the experience in my body. It will never replace the power of being witnessed by another human being because our systems are wired for connection. Right?
Beautiful.
Chat's wonderful, but right, humans it lives here. It's a living experience.
Yeah.
Great,
All right, that's awesome. Javier, I would invite you to connect with Claudine more about this conversation, And for me, like I practice my heck yeses. And I do it with food, actually. I just do it with food. I'm like, little mini practices, right? Just like, I'm looking at these French fries. I'm like, I love French fries, but is this a heck yes for me right now? I'm trying to get 6-pack abs. I'm trying to get in the best shape of my life. If it's not a heck yes, I'm like, okay, I'm not doing it. Like, we talk about this too. Hesitation is a no vote also, right? Hesitation is a no vote or just wait. If you have hesitation on something, just give it more time. Give it more of the pause, right? But if it's a heck yes, in the moment, I'm yes. And sometimes I'm like, I'm a heck yes to eating French fries right now, something like that. So
I love that. It's a great experience because it's also low risk to practice your connection to yourself and to your body. Yes. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that one.
Yeah, low risk.
Deny yourself. You can't deny yourself your natural ability. You can have 1 or 2 fries and it'll satiate it. A lot of times I know friends that, will eat it and then spit it out because your tongue automatically, they get it. And I mean, it gives you the feeling, you spit it out, you never swallow it. It's over. It's no big deal. You'll pass that. And then you'll say, I want to do this or that. You can do that and then you pass it. But
Right.
I was going to say one thing about Javier. Javier, getting up out of bed every day is a hell yes.
Hell yes. Yep.
Making
And
your
not for
bed,
everybody, Jeff.
making your bed. Well, you're above ground, aren't you?
Yeah, I just meant there's depression, there's other things on board, but yes, the fact that you're
see that.
alive every day.
Yeah, depressed or not depressed, you're alive. That's a hell yes.
Yeah.
And so, that's the very first one. You get that for a few years, and then we're done with that. So my point is, you better pick your hell yeses and keep, refining them, because it might be, hey, I lost 2 pounds this week. Hell yes. Or it might be, I had 3 business meetings this week, and that's a hell yes. You know what I mean? Or I put something under contract, whatever. And it can be as little thing as, hey, me and my wife went to dinner tonight, and that was our date night. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of them. You just got to make them achievable. And the more yeses you make yourself, you'll make yourself gradually get to the majors. I mean,
I completely agree with you, Jeff. It's momentum, it's practice, right? It's also attunement to yourself. Our alignment is really important. If we're not paying attention here, we just do it out there. You're completely right. It's the micro yeses that build.
right.
Very
And
nice.
that's how you get out of depression. That's how you get out of a lot of things.
Exactly.
It's not only the big things, because we make 1,000, 10,000 decisions every day.
Yep.
Right. So it's the practice of like, oh, every moment. Heck yes. No. Heck yes.
I'm
No.
winning.
Yeah.
I'm winning. I'm winning.
Yeah.
I'm winning.
Awesome.
That's a point I was making earlier. You have to just keep winning. You're going to fail, you keep win. You keep win, you fail, you keep win. I mean, you're going to go back and forth against the hill. It's just a fact of life. That hill is how you win. I mean, that's how you make it to the next challenge. That's your goal hill,
Yes.
Awesome.
Donna has a question in chat, like, what happens if your hell yes is something bad for you? I would really challenge if it's actually a hell yes. Right. I've never heard a hell yes that's bad for you. Now, I'm not going to say hell yes doesn't lead to discomfort, pain, loss. Leaving a relationship may feel like, but right, if that's what we know, right, if we're going to go for surgery. So I would really question if it's really bad for you. It may be painful, uncomfortable, not the desired, not the illusion or dream we had hoped for, or the result we had hoped for. That is a little different. I don't know where that sits for you, Alex, but I never heard of a hell yes that's bad for us.
Well, think about alcohol. That could be that.
Yeah.
Is that a hell yes?
For some people, it's a hell yes. Let's party, and then next morning they feel like crap, and they miss 4 meetings, and that's not good for you. So I mean,
I don't think that's a hell yes, Jeff. That's not a hell yes. To me, that's cut off addiction. We are not in alignment. We are really not listening to hear. We're listening to a disease, a mindset, a pattern, right? That is different than a hell yes that we're talking about. Because a hell yes is information from inside out. I would tell you the brain and the body of an addict is definitely craving, right? So is the mind. So I would just see it a little differently.
I think we can go into this conversation much, much deeper about the heck yeses and what that means. But really, right now, we're debating with the brain. We're debating in the mind.
Every day.
The heck yes is going to come from in the moment. In the moment, does your body feel like a heck yes? Sometimes I'm like, it's not support. Like, I know if I go and eat ice cream, it's not supportive. But you know what? In this, I've been really good. I'm super fit and all that. When I eat the ice cream, I'm a heck yes for that ice cream. I believe that there is a filter that when this ice cream goes down my heck yes filter, it is actually good for my body. So that's my thoughts on that. That's exactly that's my thought. That's my thought about it. And again, we can debate it with the mind constantly back and forth, and there will never be a right answer. Okay, there's going to be a million different truths. The law of chaos. This is what that looks like. But in our body, each one of us, the whole point of this is to learn to attune to your own body and to your own heck yeses.
Exactly.
And really get to know what your body is wanting. And your body knows. So, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
We have gone past our time, and it's because this must have been such a great call. Thank you, Claudine, for blessing us and sharing your gifts with us. I hope you all got a lot of value out of this, or got some kind of aha out of this. If nothing, you leave with the clearer our intention, the higher our returns. I mean, that's something that you can sit with and think about and go through that and have many deep thoughts around it. Okay.
Sure.
So that's it. That's all, folks, for today. Claudine, thank you for being
Thank you.
here. And there is her contact info is in the
Yes.
chat.
Sure. Love to see you on the November 11th Neo Masterclass.
Awesome.
See you there.
And again,
Yeah, thank you,
January
everyone.
8th to the 10th, great New Year's event to go to set your intentions for the remaining of the year. Promise you it will be pretty game and life-changing. All right. That's
See
it.
you there,
That's all,
Alex.
folks. Yes. See you there.
Alrighty.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Good night,
Great.
everyone.
You guys.